in transit
What
again.
is this?
And granted, I was going to put the famous Padrille in as well, probably next best, but this is one of those races that could fit into a Saturday, so there's a bit of depth to it.
Yeah, there is. Famous Padrille on top. I had the Danger as the 6 in Pendle, just because it was dead set knocking on the door before it hit that Gold Coast track last start with the kickback, and you can just see it didn't want a bar of it and wasn't pushed to do anything. Most certainly Main, probably your class runner in the race, just needs luck from the draw. And then Data Leak for Kevin Kempy, probably ready for the headgear and maybe 1400, but going okay. Not a bad horse. 9, 6, 10, 16 was certainly an overdue maiden winner. Okay, the Knight is a benchmark 78 handicap, 1700 metres. Full of Sincerity is your 380 favourite. Grinzinger Knight gets a nice map today. Archer's Game's just been rock solid all prep. Artful Girl is first up at the trip, and then Sizzling Gal, she was a bit disappointing last start. 850 when sent out favourite.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with Artful Girl here. I found this really tricky.
Me too.
Kian.
I was watching the replays even in bed on my phone. I don't know.
Yeah, so I just went with her because I like the fact she hasn't raced for 102 days because she had a busy prep.
Yeah.
And always ran well. I thought we'd bring you the replay Full of Serenity. Now, here he is having his first start for former Victorian. This was at Ballina. And he led and he upped the ante from about the 600 metres mark, and he's kept on really strongly. Excuse me, on this very heavy track, but just thought with Kobe Vittler claiming 3, second up, he could be hard to run down here. Now, he was only a one-time winner from 17 before coming up here. Nothing flash, but last preparation he ran into benchmark 100 at Caulfield, a couple of benchmark 84s. So
much better than
I
this.
think switching him up here, this could be his niche in life. So, but I'll go with...
We see that, don't we, with the Southerner stayers?
Yeah,
so
bit of a drop back in grade, like Dillian for Peter and Will Holbert's a classic case.
It's flying. I can't believe I didn't tip it. It's first start in Queensland.
Did you tip against him that day? Will won't be happy with you.
I know, and I am happy to, put my hand up, but I was picking through, perhaps the horse had issues because it had spot, but they've got him flying.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll go with Kempy's Artful Girl here to beat Full of Sincerity. Archer's Game was good last start, although it was a crazy run race. Two of them, the two leaders felt that the winning post was at the top of the straight.
Yes, well, yeah, I'm going to talk about a horse in the same race.
Yeah, they collapsed, and Archer's Game got up to score. So he's a bit of a stalker, Archer's Game. So the 11 has a chance. And then Grinzinger Knight may be the leader here. Does like the firmer the better, and I think by the time we get to the last, the track will be close to good, and that'll suit Grinzinger Knight.
I have played Granite Prince. I don't know what they were doing last start. He's never led in his life, and that was the Archer's Game race.
And I think 1700 or whatever it was up there, 1650 or whatever, is probably his outer limit. So ridden like that.
Just wasn't given the chance to see it. So I'm just forgiving, because I actually tipped him on the day. He's a funny horse. He doesn't like being between runners, but he seems to have improved a little bit. So I've got to play him again at the price. Archer's Game, Full of Sincerity, Grinzinger Knight, and I'm pretty sure I've got Artful Girl as the talent of the race. I wasn't sure how forward Kempy had her. Okay, the last, benchmark 68 handicap over the 1100 metres. Another good race as well. Gambling Geek, I think perhaps, Greek rather, our favourite, 330. Rich Mix, who's a very fast horse, $4. Poison Ruler, $5.50. Gig Giggles has been rock solid at 7s. Battle of Vienna, $7.50. And Ring of Steel, tell you what, he's getting out to a backable price now.
You think so?
I don't know. He is.
I've just about.
What do you call him? A promiser, under-deliverer, but a talent. What do you do with him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Put him in the bin?
Well, no, not in the bin, but just drop off a little bit. I'm just dropping off a little
On the
bit.
bench?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Gambling Greek is my selection here. Now, you're keen on Give Giggles. For me, it was one of the two. She did trial beautifully a couple of weeks ago. This was at Doomben a couple of Tuesdays ago now. And look, if she has a touch of luck from a slightly awkward draw, she's going to be the one.
I know. What do they do from the alley? And look, she trialled up like this before before her first Queensland preparation.
This is Ring of Steel in front.
And that's Ring of Steel in front, and she was clearly going the better. A lot of things didn't go right in those 3 runs up here in Queensland, but I do think she's a talent.
Yeah.
She's just got to relax. She has a few issues breathing, all of those things. She needs a beautiful unimpeded run, but you're right. What do they do from the alley?
Well, the Gambling Greek's got no dramas with the alley or positioning because he's a natural forward runner. There's a couple of others here, but I think he can take the trail. But the 3 kilos off for Kobe Vittler, inside barrier, pretty tough horse.
Yes.
I've seen him get involved in stoushes and not throw the towel in. So I think he could be safe, positioning-wise.
Leads for fun, really.
Well, I do think Rich Minx probably wants to...
And he won't like pressure.
No. Well, that's the thing with her. She got no pressure on that poly track the other day.
Yeah.
And
she was still sort of walking at the end.
And the horse running on had 62 Spirit of Brody, who winds up here. So, I think it's a good race for him. Give Giggles, definitely. I've got Ring of Steel there. I think he gets a nice soft run, maybe in the first 3 or 4. And Rich Minx, just slightly concerned the last 50 or 60 if she's attacked in front.
Certainly. Give Giggles on top. I think she's a talent. I'll see what she does today. I've been very patient with her. What I liked about the Gambling Greek, who I've got him for second pick, was the trial that he's recently had behind Overfull. Like, she won the
she went
Scone
to
English,
Scone,
and she was great in Melbourne. She was fantastic up the straight there too. Ring is still certainly getting out away from the half mile. And then Mushiali was, again, I've never seen him that close to the speed the other night. A bit of a forgive, and we know on his day he boxes around with the Saturday horses.
Yeah, he does.
He's thereabouts. 3, 10, 2 and 1. We'll look at the specials again for today.
I think on point Pixie, I'm going to have a win multi on tab today, and she's my first leg into 7-3 Lady Lucifer. And then my value one, but this was $9 and $2.20. It's half that now. This Yakatori race 1 number 12.
Yeah, I'm also with Yakatori. Give Giggles a best and famous Padrille is a value quaddie.
Quaddie $18, just number 3 Lady Lucifer. So we'll put all the eggs just in that one basket. Then 10, 3, 6, 7, 1, 11. And then I've got the Gambling Greek and Give Giggles. They are 10 and 3 in the last.
I went very wide in that second leg. What race number 8? Not sure how many I threw in there, but I just thought perhaps I've left something
5 of them.
Yeah, open race. So I'm 180 for 100%. Jockey Challenge today is headed up by Ryan Maloney. You've got Cole Wilson-Taylor, Damien Thornton perhaps on the same line, and then Kobe Vittler with some good rides today.
Yeah, with his claim,
Yeah, 3 kilos. Good rider. And then $8 for any other jockey. Our first race is set to jump at 27 minutes past 11. So we're going to be on very, very shortly. And also we've got a preview coming up not too far away with Shenny and Brad for Canterbury for their 8 races today.
Well, it's a very good morning. Lovely to be with you from Canterbury this morning. Well, the skies are a little overcast. Showers are predicted, but we are here and we are racing on a heavy 10. We are predicted to get about 15 mils throughout the day. As I say, good morning to you, Brad. Unfortunately, we've had Well, in saying that, I was going to say quite a few scratchings. We are left with some smaller fields, but overall, probably not too bad considering.
Yeah, it could have been worse. Good morning to you, Shani, and to everyone watching on. So we are here, that's the main thing. So scattered showers throughout the day. Looking at the radar, I don't think there's any huge chunks of rain, but we just might get bits and pieces throughout the meeting. So rail is out 2 metres. We are on a heavy 10, so you are looking for your genuine wet trackers. And it feels like we've been spoiled a little bit over the autumn as far as dry conditions go. An unusually dry autumn, but all of a sudden winter is just around the corner, and we're confronted with a wet track. So I guess it's a bit tricky with a few of these, particularly in the first couple of races, given such a limited exposure, if not any exposure, to wet ground. So a bit of a guessing game to that extent, but there are a few proven wet trackers towards the back end of the card, and they're the ones that I'm keen on.
Well, given that we haven't had a lot of rain throughout the past few months, a lot of these horses wouldn't have even seen puddles. So this will be the first time they're seeing genuine wet tracks.
Good weather to be a bin chicken, though.
It is great weather to be a bin chicken. And if you want to be at a track where we cop a lot of rain, you want it to be Canterbury. Because if we were anywhere else, we'd probably be off.
That's fair, yep. A good draining track, and I expect it to play pretty fair.
How did it play last Monday week when you were here?
Fair, yeah. It
wasn't wet, obviously.
A lot of my notes for Canterbury over the past 6 months, 12 months, 18 months has just been fair. So it's been playing really well, and I expect today to be the same.
Okay, let's dive into the first race. It's a 2 and 3 year old fillies maiden, and it will be run over the 1100 metres. Obviously quite a few scratchings, so we are left with just the 5 runners to do battle here. We'll take a look at the market, and Cold Gin is our favourite. Scratch from the previous race at 250, scratch from the next race. She's at 250, she hasn't moved. On the next line of betting, you've got Poise, $3.90 into $3.20. So there's been a bit of specking for her, and we did hear Adrian Bott say that she will get through the wet track, so that's always positive. Surf's Up, the third line there, $3.50 out to $3.70. Big Red Tequila there, $6 into $5.50, back out to $6.50. And Kitty OK. We didn't think Kitty OK would be going around, but Teresa Baidup has opted to send this filly around, $16 out to $18, back into $17. Take us through the speed map.
Yeah, speed map. Poised goes forward, looks to get ownership from the get-go. You've got Kitty OK, who potentially settles outside the lead. Cold Gin gets the back of Poised and shouldn't, touch wood, have any excuses today, because she did have excuses on debut. So this is a replay of what she did at Warwick Farm. She should have won. She had a lot to offer, but never really got the chance to show it. So you can see here she's locked up behind a wall of horses and pretty much had the handbrake on throughout. So she's still learning, but she'll take plenty of benefit from this outing. And the other runner to keep an eye on here is Surf's Up in the Cerise down the outside. She had the benefit of an uninterrupted passage, but I liked her late strength. And looking at Surf's Up pedigree, she's a half-sister to Cigar Flick, who is a really good wet tracker. So if pedigree's any little vote of confidence there, she should get through it okay. But I thought Cold Gin was a filly that was unlucky here, and I don't think it'll be too much longer before she cracks her maiden, given the strength of her debut. The great unknown, like a lot of these, is how she'll handle the conditions. But I think she has to be the starting point. Poised. So tongue tie first time. She ran second to Cleachy Boulevard on debut at Warwick Farm back in June. It's been 45 weeks since we've seen her at the races. Her second start was a little bit disappointing, but maybe that gear change suggested that she did have an issue in the gap between runs. So she's had 2 trials. The first was better, but we often see that with the stable, Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. The second trial can be a little bit flat, but they come out and run well. So market's a big guide there, but she's already ticked off that heavy track box. That second to Cleachy Boulevard was a 2-year-old race. It did produce 5 subsequent winners, and it was a heavy track. Best of the rest, I've gone with Big Red Tequila. Should have finished a touch closer there at Wyong on debut. That was over the 1100 metres, just held up momentarily in the straight, and it was on a soft 7, so maybe some guide to the conditions. But 9, 4, 11 and 1 with the favourite in the first.
It'll be interesting to see how she parades.
Yes.
She got herself very worked up at Warwick Farm. In saying that, today she would have had a float trip away, and that can certainly be the difference in the way they present.
She was very easy late in betting, and that had a lot to do with it.
She was quite naughty down the back. She got herself very worked up in the yard. I really wanted to tip her, actually, because she was physically, she was a great type, but she was just mentally, she wasn't there yet. So it'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on her. Let's take a look at race number 2 now. Again, for the 2-year-olds, just the 2-year-olds now. It's a maiden over 1100 metres, open to boys and girls. So only the, what have we got here? Only the 6 to do a battle here. Is it 6 or is it 5? It's 6. I'll be able to count one day. Miss Free Love, he's our favourite. She's $2 out to $2.15. Bryant on the second line there. Back at Gelding, $5.50 into $4.60, back to $4.80. Beechworth, the next best, opened up at $4.60, out to $5 there. Agent Zero, $7 into $5.50, got into $5, back out to $5.50. Chatelaine, $6 out to $6.50 there, and Or Too Clever, here's the outsider, $51 out to $61. Who leads here?
Probably Miss Freelove by default now. So she settled in the first couple there on debut, made her own luck. She's back in trip, but I don't think that holds any fears for her. We did lose a couple of our likely leaders in Amarillo Sky and Jet this morning, so Jet will have to wait another day. He's a $1 million yearling. He has won his most recent 2 trials. So makeup-wise, I don't think it's going to be a truly run race. I'm hoping Beechworth can settle much closer than we saw on debut. I'm just trying to read between the lines with him. Now, $5, I would have liked a touch better price, given you do have to use your imagination to some extent. But looking at his pedigree and the way that he trialled up, he wasn't really asked to do anything in 2 trials. And then here he was on debut, and he didn't really get the chance to show what he was made of again. So he was out the back. He kind of gets a bit of an interrupted passage, and pretty much goes to the line hard held. So inconclusive. There was some support for him at bigger odds. Hawkbury on her, I'm Invincible. So well-bred colt. And as soon as the markets went up, he was the first one back to 11 into $8. So there might be something doing there. Just hoping there is some support late. I do like this as far as a form reference goes. And if he does see daylight there and he flashes home into 3rd or 4th, all of a sudden he's probably one of the favourites here, given that form reference behind Aerodrome and Hidden Motive, who has come out and run well since in Saturday Company as favourite. The danger has to be your favourite, Miss Freelove. I thought she had a chance here on debut. She was well back. She trialled quite nicely prior to this. We've seen this replay already, so I do expect this form reference to stack up in the opener there. Cold Gin and Surfs Up come through it. She was a touch keen, if anything, for the first half of the race, but that should just knock that fresh edge off her, and she'll go forward and make her own luck. So no real knock other than the price. 6 Bryant. If he runs up to his most recent trial, he's a big player here. So he returns a gelding. Didn't really fire in his one run in his first preparation. He dropped out to be beaten a fair way at Rose Hill, but you don't see too many horses win from last over the 740-metre trials, and that's exactly what he did most recently. A really fast last 200-metre split, and 11 Chatelaine. Does give away race experience, but she's found the line in her 2 trials. So 7, 8, 6 and 11. Continuing
on the maiden trend, and race number 3 again, another maiden for the 3-year-olds this time, and it's over 1,550 metres. An interesting field. So our favourite at this point is Barbray, just ahead of, Shangri-La Impact, $3.70, just ahead of Barbray at $3.80. Dark Arts at $3.90, so it will be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of hours when this race is due to run. Victor, the next best there at $4.60. We've got Banksy, horse number 4, $7, hasn't budged. Ant, $21, and Dark Stratum at $23. So pretty much very quiet there on the betting front. Absolutely nothing happening ahead of race number 3. So the other day, Dark Stratum sat outside the leader. Shangri-La Impact went forward at Kembla, so you'd expect the same? Yeah, I think she'd lead this, but there will be a little bit of pressure there. Victor will be looking to hold a spot. Dark Stratum holds a spot, and Dark Arts has led at his past couple of starts, and that tactic seems to be agreeing with him. He's run well at his past couple. He's just found one better on the day. So Shangri-La Impact, I like what she did on debut there at Kembla Grange. She did a few things wrong. She wasn't the best into stride, had to work early to settle outside the lead, and maybe that told at the finish, but ultimately she still had her chance. I just think she lacked a bit of race sense in terms of knowing how to put a field away. You'll see at this point halfway down the straight, and she was well backed. She did look the winner, but a little bit raw, a little bit new, had a bit of a look around, and the horse towards the inside tacked, ended up kicking back and beating her, but there was 2 lengths back to 3rd. That horse that did run 3rd, Elavina, came out and won at Newcastle to frank the form line. So looking at her pedigree, full sister, 1 out to 2,000 metres, so I like to step out to the 1,550 here, and I think she's a filly that'll take so much benefit from that outing. She was coming again, if anything, through the line, so I like that bit of desire to get her nose down. 2 Dark Arts, he's had a few chances, but coming here off the back of 2 seconds, this is an important form reference given Victor and Barbray also come through it. Now, Full How was too good at the finish. He's come out and run well in a 1,900 metres here at Canterbury. So nothing wrong with this as far as a form reference goes. What makes me a little bit worried is the fact that there probably wasn't a lot between
them, so a bit of a bunchy finish here. That's a bit of a red flag as far as a form reference goes, but Dark Arts handles it wet or dry, and he'll make his own. Like the case for Barbara is that he doesn't have the convictions of a few of his others. That was only his second career start. I liked his work through the line. And then you've got Victor, who looked a little bit one-paced at the finish there, but he does get Winker's first time, so he's a half-brother to Know Thyself, so the wet track might be okay if you're leaning to his pedigree, but I'm thinking that little gear change might just sharpen him up. So 5, 2, 3 and 1 there in race 3.
Race 4, it's over 1,200 metres for the benchmark 64 gallopers, and we've got a resuming horse here. Our favourite, it is First Mission from the Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexio stable, currently sitting at $2.80. He did open at sitting at $3. He did open at $2.80. Cordina on the next line, $4.40 out to $4.60, back into $4.20. Belength, $5 into $4.60. Be Quiet on the next line there, $5.50 out to $6. Bonjour Madame, number 6, $9 into $8.50. Imperial State, $10, and Dorova is 12 into 11, back out to $12. Okay, speed map from Racing and Sports. Who is our leader?
Yeah, well, Cordina went back there last start, but this
wasn't supposed to.
No, this is a very different setup, isn't it? So I would expect a change of tactics to be confirmed there. She did go forward there at her first couple of starts in Melbourne. Bonjour Madame maybe takes that free trail across. Be Quiet won't be too far away in First Mission. Looks to get the right run, just parked up in behind your likely couple of leaders. So I can see the set against him, and on the current trend, you might get better than the $3 First Mission, given he is first up 1,200 metres heavy track on the back of one soft trial, but I like what he did in his first campaign. So he comes back gelding. He had the 4 runs. He broke through at start number 3, and that was out to 1,300 metres. So he should be strong here. He's handled soft ground in the past, untried heavy, but the fact that the stable, Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexio, are happy to run first up on a heavy track, that's a bit of a vote of confidence. So you can see him here. He cruises home quite nicely in one hit out. This is over the Rosehill 900 metres, and he looks quite loose there in his action. So he's doing everything right to say that he can potentially hit the ground running first up. 7 Be Quiet has a little fitness advantage over First Mission. Has come back a better mare this time in. This is her third campaign. She makes her own luck. She's 5 weeks between runs, but she's had a tick-over trial since, and this is that tick-over trial. I thought she won really well at Kembla Grange first up to break her maiden. She was an all-the-way winner, and then boxed on okay there to run second at Gosford last start. So, as I say, 5 weeks between runs, but she has had this little bridging trial where she was given a pretty easy time, wasn't asked to do a lot, but again, she looked quite good. So I think she's here to run well. Other than that, Bonjour Madame defied a big late drift there at Wyong last start. She was still too good, so harder again, but she's quickly going through the grades and chasing 3 straight. And then you've got Imperial State, who is the stablemate to First Mission. Doesn't have the upside of that horse, but what he does have is a better fitness base. He does strike this 4th up, which may take him some ways. 4, 7, 6 and 5.
We're going to pause there for a moment and take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to head back to Maxi and Kian for the first at Ipswich, and following race number 1 from Ipswich, we'll be back to have a look at the quaddy legs.
Welcome to midweek racing here at Ipswich. Runners are in the yard for race number 1. It's cutest 2-year-old maiden place. We run over the 1,100 metres. Brutal Glory is on debut. Michael Rodd rides for Kelly Schweida.
It's been coming along nicely, Kian, in 3 trials. Just see the barrier a bit of a challenge here, gate number 9. Now, he won a Doomben trial a couple of Tuesdays ago. He led from his stablemate Quarryman. They backed it off controlled without any pressure, and neither of them were pushed out. Of course, the ran second Quarryman since failed last Wednesday. Something may not have been 100% there, but he did finish at the rear. So it's all about the barrier and if you can offset an awkward gate.
Okay, Excel Boom is the 2. Ryan Maloney rides for Tony Gollan. His mum was fast, Maxi, but this guy's been polar opposite in trials.
Yeah, he has been. He's had a couple. He ran second at the Gold Coast recently, only beaten ahead. He was sort of a bit reluctant to stretch out. He was wanting to lay in, not fully concentrating. But I thought he was good considering he was 3 wide most of the way and finished off okay. So he's here with a good chance.
Matthew Dunn has the 6 Insta-worthy. Andrew Mellion, he's got a few tricks he can lay in quite bad.
Yep, he's a colt by Farnham. Just the one start back in the summer, inexperienced, so he's had a spell. Since been trialling quite well, including the latest trial win at Beaudesert.
Cirque de la Vie is the 8. CJ Graham, Liam Birchley. Trial was back in November behind Formula Rossa.
Yes, I think that was one of those qualifiers for the debut. Didn't do enough. Can't find any recent trials, so keep an eye on the market.
Don't Tell Your Father is the 9. Damien Thornton, Matthew Dunn.
Filly by Curler Zabeel. She's been well prepared with 4 trials, 2 in November. That's good. She had the trials turned out. She's had a couple recently showing some ability.
Henuel's the 10. Tiffany Brooker for Daryl Hanson.
She had a trial back in December. Again, I think it was the debut qualifier. In fact, there's been a bit of form out of it. Vain Girl, she won the debut. Amosu was second, won the other one, and Deceitful Miss was third, but didn't do a lot. Probably going better now. We're 6 months down the track.
She was a touch hard to assess, wasn't it? Okay, Corey and Chris Muntz have the 11 outcry. Siobhan Rutledge.
Yeah, just not doing enough at the trials as yet.
Yakatori is right in front of us. The filly by Schnitzel. Cole Wilson Taylor, Stewie Kendrick.
Yes, she looks ready to go. A filly by Schnitzel. She had a trial back in October. It was good. Turned out, and the recent trial, she finished second in a 4-way finish. Ritualize won the heat and then came out to win at Doomben. So I think that was an encouraging form trial today. Kian, and she looks hard to beat.
All right, what's Egyptian Goddess going to do today, Maxie? Because the crossover goes on for the first time. Earmuffs are coming back off. And the last time it raced without the earmuffs 2 starts ago, it pretty much bolted. Mark Duplessis, Ryan Tyrrell.
Yeah, I think you've said it all. She's just...